going to explain something to a Nikon Ambassador, and I'll let you all take a listen. This is the same ambassador that did a switcheroo on the images back and forth again. And something that he wrote in the description of his pictures. He replaced the originals with heavily edited ones, and I explained all of that. And finally, he displayed the absolute originals that were there to begin with, and then posted the heavily edited ones, so you can actually see all pictures, and that's all well and fine. But I'm going to explain something to him that he doesn't get, and it's a statement that he made. And, you know, by the way, my comment to you is that you're a great photographer, and I'm not questioning you know, you as being an excellent photographer, nor your editing skills. He actually says in the comments of one of the heavily edited pictures that he finally posted. And by the way, you have to understand too that this photographer made a willing choice to take the images that dropped off that camera. And by the way, every camera is an image processor. I mean, they go through processing before they get dropped on the card. We all know this. Every image is processed. But he made a willful choice to heavily edit those pictures to his liking. And now here's the rub that he doesn't get and that most of you don't get. Okay? He made a choice to make those nice and colorful and poppy, meaning they actually popped out. You actually can't add micro contrast. It doesn't matter what lens it is. There's nothing in Lightroom or Photoshop that will let you add micro contrast. There are a couple of things like binocular disparity and micro contrast. Doesn't matter what you do in any software, it cannot be added. But there's a lot of other stuff that you can do that make it look really contrasty and something that's pleasing to the eyes. So he made the willful choice to do that. And my point is that he made the choice to take the output of the lens and make it look like something that he thought was most pleasing. And I'll agree with him that his pictures that he heavily edited were very pleasing. There's no doubt about that. Now he says here on the comments on the heavily edited images, I think this issue really is that you don't like my editing. Okay, no offense, but I do. Oh, no, no, no. I like your heavily photoshopped images. I think the heavily photoshopped images that he did, and this is the point that he doesn't get and that you folks don't get, I never once said, hey, I don't like the way these heavily edited and photoshopped images look. I never said that. I said that it's disingenuous to represent that as the output of the lens. My point also is that if you had actually shot with this lens to begin with, the 105 f2 DC Nikkor, the images would look insanely closer to what your final heavily edited images look like than the horrible output that dropped off that camera to begin with. And this is my point. And this is something that you folks don't understand either. When I went to photography school, some of the best photographers in the world had dropped by, and just because they're the best in the world and their art was just, you know, you go, damn, you know, their work is awesome. That doesn't mean that they actually knew an awesome lens from a bad one. It's just that whatever they had and what they were used to using, they worked it good, okay? I mean, they worked it good. And most of these people have not shot. I don't even know if this Nikon Ambassador has even used this lens, so that's pure speculation on my part. I'm going to bet he probably never has. It's possible he might have. You know, as an ambassador, it's his role to post images of a new lens that is about to be released. We all know that. That's no big deal. It's like, here's a new lens we're about to release. Go take some pictures with it, and then send us some good shots so we can put it up on our website. That's all hunky-dory. That's just common business practices. There's no denying that. My point, and no, I don't think that apparently this person thinks that people think his heavily edited images look bad. I think your heavily edited and photoshopped images look really damn good. I think the issue is that you really don't like my editing. Okay, no offense, but I do. No, I agree with you. I think your heavily edited images look very, very, very good. They do. My point is that to make that horrible lens look really, really good, you had to take the output from that horrible f1 105 f1.4 and do this number with it. You know, just cover it with ketchup. It just went right through the ringer in Photoshop. The output looks great. but it is not representative of what dropped on the camera. I mean, because now we can see on your Flickr page, and you're a great photographer, okay? This is not about you. We can see the images, and then we can see the heavily edited. And anybody that looks at the two is like, I like that heavily edited image, but you chose to make it look that way, and we agree with you. I agree with you. That heavily edited image looks better. It looks awesome. You know what it looks like? It kind of looks like what this thing will do straight out of camera. This lens. See, my idea is now some of us. And I'm not against heavily editing images. Heavily editing images sometimes is tons of fun. I'm not against heavily editing images. However, that is not the workflow of a wedding photographer, a commercial photographer, a portrait photographer who has to work with like 600 images. Like, you want it to look the best. With that sort of workflow, I mean, this is the type of editing that should be done. And if you had a lens like this to begin with, but I know Nikon. You're a Nikon rep, and you're supposed to go out and take some shots with that lens and drop them to Nikon. I know that. That's fine. But if you use this lens to begin with, the most you'd have to do in Photoshop to make it look really good is like, or even not even that. Instead, you had to take that that 105 f1.4 Nikkor and do this number with it. Now everybody could see it because you have the original images that you posted and the images that you heavily edited in Photoshop, and the heavily edited images look good. So I am not disagreeing with you. I actually like your Photoshop. You're obviously a master of Photoshop, and I like the output that you did. I noticed how you removed the nose hairs, you removed the age spots, and you added some eyebrow hairs. You actually drew them in Photoshop. I mean, that was very evident, however. By the way, that's the one point that kind of really stuck out. It does look natural, but almost not natural. You drew in a few too many eyebrow hairs there. But it's okay. The image looks a lot better. So I like your editing skills. Point is that this would have been closer to your final edited pictures. And if this saves me, X amount of time in Photoshop, then that makes this a superior lens. And that is my damn point. And if somebody does not understand that damn point, then I think that, I don't know what to think. I just won't say it. So, you're a great photographer. I love your heavily photoshopped images. They look wonderful. I mean, they really do. No sarcasm at all. They look wonderful. Point being is that you used a crummy lens that you had to do that to instead of this to. And that is the damn point. Okay? Love you. Bye.